Welcome to this comprehensive exploration of the SEBI Takeover Code, a critical regulatory framework governing mergers and acquisitions involving listed companies in India. In this video, we'll break down the essential elements of the code, focusing on its trigger thresholds, open offer process, pricing mechanics, and the exemption framework. Whether you're a student, legal professional, or business enthusiast, understanding these regulations is vital for navigating India's dynamic corporate landscape. Let's begin by setting the context. This code adds a vital layer of protection and transparency for public shareholders, ensuring fair play in the world of corporate takeovers. We'll build on the foundations laid in previous parts and dive deep into the specifics of the SEBI Substantial Acquisition of Shares and Takeovers Regulations 2011. SEBI Takeover Code is more than just a set of rules, it's the backbone of transparency and fairness in India's capital markets. Whenever a merger or acquisition involves a listed company, this code ensures that public shareholders are protected from abrupt or unfair changes in control. It's updated more frequently than the Companies Act, reflecting the fast-paced nature of the securities market. Throughout this video, we'll see how the code's architecture is designed to balance the interests of acquirers, target companies, and the investing public. Understanding its structure is essential for anyone involved in Indian M&A transactions. Part IV of the treatise covers four main chapters: trigger thresholds, the open offer process, offer pricing mechanics, and the framework for exemptions, indirect acquisitions, voluntary offers, and competing bids. Each chapter addresses a vital aspect of the takeover process, ensuring that every step from the initial acquisition to the final settlement is governed by clear, enforceable rules. This structure not only provides legal certainty but also helps maintain investor confidence in the market. Let's start by examining the first critical area: trigger thresholds and the architecture of Regulations 3 and 4. Trigger thresholds are the heart of the SEBI Takeover Code. They determine when an acquirer must make a public open offer to the shareholders of a listed company. There are three main routes that can trigger this obligation: the initial threshold under Regulation 3.1, creeping acquisition under Regulation 3.2, and acquisition of control under Regulation 4. Each route is independently sufficient, meaning, if anyone is triggered, the open offer requirement kicks in. There's also a fourth route for indirect acquisitions, which we'll discuss later. Understanding these thresholds is crucial for anyone planning or analyzing a takeover. Regulation 3.1 sets the initial trigger. If an acquirer, along with persons acting in concert, reaches 25% or more of the voting rights in a target company, they must make a public announcement of an open offer. This replaced the earlier 15% threshold, aligning with global best practices and recommendations from the Achathan Committee. For companies listed on the Innovators Growth Platform, the threshold is even higher at 49%, reflecting the unique nature of these innovative firms. This distinction is important and often tested in real-world scenarios. Once an acquirer holds 25% or more but less than 75% of voting rights, Regulation 3.2 allows them to acquire up to an additional 5% in a single financial year without triggering a new open offer. If they exceed this 5% limit within the same year, a fresh open offer is required. This rule is calculated on a financial year basis, not a rolling 12-month period, a subtle but important distinction. Even acquisitions within the 5% limit must be disclosed under Regulation 29, ensuring ongoing transparency for the market. Regulation 3.3 extends the creeping acquisition logic to individual members of a group acting in concert. Even if the group's overall holding doesn't change, an individual increasing their stake beyond the 5% limit within a financial year can trigger an open offer. This provision ensures that no single member can quietly amass significant control without proper disclosure and shareholder protection. It's a safeguard against backdoor takeovers and maintains the integrity of the open offer process. Regulation 4 is unique because it triggers an open offer not based on shareholding percentage, but on the acquisition of control itself. If an acquirer gains the right to appoint a majority of the board or influence management decisions, through agreements or other means, they must make an open offer even if their shareholding is minimal. This ensures that any change in who controls the company is transparent and gives public shareholders an exit opportunity. Determining what constitutes control can be complex and often depends on the specifics of each case. No acquirer or group acting in concert can acquire shares that would push their total holding above 75% of a listed company's equity. This ceiling reflects the minimum public shareholding requirement under Indian law. If an acquirer wants to go beyond 75%, they must pursue a delisting process alongside the open offer. This rule ensures that a significant portion of shares remains available to the public, supporting market liquidity and investor participation. Let's recap the key thresholds. 25% triggers an open offer, 5% is the annual creeping limit, and 75% is the maximum non-public shareholding. For Innovators Growth Platform companies, the initial trigger is 49%. Each threshold is designed to balance the interests of acquirers and public shareholders, ensuring that significant changes in ownership or control are always accompanied by an open offer. This summary provides a quick reference for anyone navigating the SEBI Takeover Code. Open offer process is a structured sequence of steps designed to ensure fairness and transparency. It starts with the appointment of a SEBI-registered merchant banker as the manager to the offer. This manager acts as the acquirer's interface with SEBI and the stock exchanges, verifying disclosures and coordinating the escrow arrangement. A The process then moves through public announcements, detailed statements, regulatory reviews, and finally, settlement with shareholder. Before making any public announcement, the acquirer must appoint a merchant banker registered with SEBI as the manager to the open offer. This manager cannot be an associate or controlled by the acquirer, ensuring independence. The manager's role is similar to a lead manager in a public issue. They verify disclosures, coordinate the escrow arrangement, and act as the main point of contact with SEBI and stock exchanges throughout the offer process. Public announcement (PA) is the first disclosure event in the open offer process. It must be made on the date the acquirer enters into the agreement that triggers the open offer, such as a share purchase agreement. The PA includes headline details, the identity of the acquirer and target, the trigger regulation, offer size and price, and the manager to the offer. This step sets the stage for full transparency and market awareness. Within 5 working days of the public announcement, the acquirer must publish a detailed public statement (DPS) in newspapers. The DPS provides comprehensive information: offer price and its basis, background to the offer, conditions, precedent, financial arrangements, statutory approvals, and the proposed settlement procedure. This ensures that all stakeholders have access to the full facts before making any decision. After the DPS, the acquirer files a draft letter of offer with SEBI within 5 working days. SEBI reviews the draft and provides comments, typically within 15 working days. Only after incorporating SEBI's observations does the acquirer finalize and dispatch the letter of offer to public shareholders. This review process ensures regulatory oversight and protects shareholder interest. Before making the public announcement, the acquirer must create an escrow account as security for fulfilling the open offer obligations. The escrow can be a cash deposit, bank guarantee, or a combination, and its amount is calculated as a percentage of the total consideration payable. This arrangement assures SEBI and shareholders that the acquirer has the financial capacity to complete the offer. Tendering period is the window during which public shareholders can tender their shares for acceptance under the open offer. This period lasts for 10 working days. Settlement payment for shares validly tendered follows the close of the tendering period. The acquirer must complete payment within a prescribed period, ensuring prompt and fair treatment of shareholders who participate in the offer. After the offer is completed, the acquirer must submit post-offer compliance reports to SEBI within a prescribed period. This ensures that all regulatory requirements have been met and provides a final layer of transparency for the market. Compliance reporting is a critical step in closing out the open offer process and maintaining market integrity. Withdrawal of an open offer is permitted only in narrowly defined circumstances, such as refusal of statutory approvals, death of the acquirer, or failure of conditions outside the acquirer's control. SEBI may also permit withdrawal at its discretion. This narrow gate reflects the policy that open offers, once announced, should not be abandoned lightly, as shareholders may have already acted based on the announcement. Regulation 8(1) establishes the floor price principle. The open offer must be made at a price not lower than the highest of several specified reference prices. This ensures that public shareholders are not offered less than what the market or prior transactions indicate the shares are worth. The acquirer can always offer a higher price but never lower than the calculated floor. Direct acquisitions of frequently traded shares, the offer price must be the highest of 4 parameters: the negotiated price under the agreement, the volume-weighted average price paid in the last 52 weeks, the highest price paid in the last 26 weeks, and the volume-weighted average market price over the last 60 trading days. This structure prevents acquirers from cherry-picking a low price and ensures fairness for public shareholders. The target company's shares are not frequently traded, market-based parameters can't be used. Instead, the offer price is determined by an independent registered valuer, using book value, comparable company multiples, and other accepted methods. This change, introduced by the 2025 amendment, strengthens minority shareholder protection and ensures objective valuation. Indirect acquisitions not meeting the criteria for deemed direct acquisition. Regulation 8(3) applies. The offer price is calculated based on reference prices from the date of the upstream acquisition or public announcement, not the open offer date. If the price can't be determined by standard parameters, it's enhanced by a prescribed annual rate to compensate for any delay. This ensures public shareholders are fairly compensated in complex, multi-layered transactions. Landmark example is the Sanofi-Aventis acquisition of Shantha Biotechnics, where the Securities Appellate Tribunal clarified that the consideration paid for an overseas parent must be transparently attributed to the Indian target for open offer pricing. This case is often cited for its approach to fair value attribution in indirect acquisitions, highlighting the fact-specific nature of such disputes. Regulation 9 governs the mode of payment, usually cash but sometimes a mix of cash and listed securities. The acquirer can revise the offer price upward at any time up to 3 working days before the tendering period opens, especially in response to a competing offer. However, once announced, the offer price cannot be revised downward, ensuring certainty for shareholders. Regulation 10 lists automatic exemptions from the open offer obligation. These include inter-se transfers among qualifying parties, acquisitions by inheritance, court-sanctioned schemes, and acquisitions by market intermediaries in the ordinary course of business. Each exemption has specific conditions and eligibility is strictly construed. Always check the current consolidated text for updates. Regulation 11 allows SEBI to grant discretionary exemptions from the open offer requirement on a case-by-case basis. This is typically used for internal restructurings or reorganizations that don't affect public shareholders' interests. The exemption is granted only if SEBI is satisfied that the transaction does not warrant an exit opportunity for public shareholders. Regulation 5 extends the takeover code to indirect acquisitions, where an acquirer gains control of an entity that itself holds shares or control over the Indian-listed target. This ensures that changes in control, even through complex group structures or offshore transactions, are subject to open offer obligations. The code provides specific parameters for when an indirect acquisition is treated as a deemed direct acquisition. Regulation 5.2 sets out the criteria for when an indirect acquisition is treated as a deemed direct acquisition. These criteria relate to the proportion of the target's value, net assets, or turnover attributable to the upstream entity's business. If the parameters are met, the same timing and pricing rules as direct acquisitions apply, ensuring consistency and fairness. Cross-border mergers and group restructurings can inadvertently trigger Indian open offer obligations if an Indian-listed subsidiary is involved. It's a recurring practical trap for foreign investors who may not realize the downstream consequences of offshore transactions. Always analyze the ownership chain carefully to avoid unexpected regulatory hurdles. Regulation 6 allows an acquirer holding 25% or more, but less than 75%, to make a voluntary open offer for at least 10% more voting rights, even if no mandatory trigger has occurred. However, the acquirer must not have acquired shares in the previous 52 weeks that should have triggered a mandatory offer. This prevents misuse of the voluntary offer route and ensures market integrity. Regulation 20 permits third parties to make competing open offers for the same target within 15 working days of the original detailed public statement. Both offers remain open, and their tendering periods are aligned so shareholders can compare them directly. This structure can lead to bidding wars, benefiting public shareholders by driving up the offer price. When a competing offer is made, the original acquirer can revise their offer upward in response. Both offers' tendering periods are synchronized, giving shareholders a fair chance to evaluate and choose. Regulation 20's cutoff date prevents endless escalation, ensuring the process remains efficient and predictable. Failure to comply with the takeover code can result in serious consequences. SEBI has the power to impose monetary penalties, direct corrective open offers, restrain acquirers from exercising voting rights, and even debar parties from the securities market. The specific penalty depends on the facts of each case, but the message is clear: compliance is non-negotiable. Over the years, SEBI has directed belated open offers, imposed interest and penalties, and taken strong action against acquirers who failed to comply with the code. Each enforcement action is fact-specific, and parties must always research the latest SEBI orders before relying on precedent. The regulator's proactive stance keeps the market fair and transparent. SEBI Takeover Code is a robust framework that governs every aspect of mergers and acquisitions involving listed companies in India. Its trigger thresholds, open offer process, pricing rules, and exemption framework work together to protect public shareholders and maintain market integrity. Staying updated with amendments and SEBI notifications is essential for compliance. For legal and business professionals, always verify the latest consolidated text of the SEBI Takeover Code before acting on any transaction. Pay close attention to trigger thresholds, disclosure obligations, and the specific timelines for each step in the open offer process. When in doubt, consult SEBI's website or seek expert advice to avoid costly mistakes. Some common pitfalls include miscalculating the 5% creeping acquisition limit, misunderstanding the definition of control, and overlooking indirect acquisition triggers in group restructurings. Failing to comply with disclosure requirements or missing deadlines can lead to severe penalties. Diligence and attention to detail are your best defenses. SEBI Takeover Code is not static, it evolves with market practices and regulatory priorities. Amendments are frequent, especially compared to company law. Staying informed about the latest changes is essential for anyone involved in Indian M&A. The code's adaptability is a strength, ensuring it remains relevant in a rapidly changing market. The SEBI Takeover Code covered, the next frontier in M&A regulation is competition law. The upcoming part of the treatise will focus on the Competition Commission of India's jurisdiction, notification thresholds, and the green channel for combinations. Understanding both securities and competition law is key to mastering the Indian M&A landscape. Sum up, the SEBI Takeover Code provides a comprehensive, enforceable framework for takeovers and substantial acquisitions in India's listed companies. Its detailed rules on triggers, process, pricing, and exemptions ensure that public shareholders are always given a fair exit opportunity and that the market remains transparent and trustworthy. Compliance with the SEBI Takeover Code is not just a legal requirement, it's a cornerstone of good corporate governance. By following the code, companies and acquirers demonstrate their commitment to fairness, transparency, and investor protection. As the regulatory landscape evolves, staying compliant is both a challenge and an opportunity for responsible market participants. For those interested in a deeper dive, SEBI's website offers the latest consolidated text of the Takeover Code, circulars, and enforcement orders. Legal databases and professional treatises provide case studies and expert commentary. Continuous learning is essential in this field, as regulations and market practices evolve rapidly. Mastering the SEBI Takeover Code is a journey that combines legal knowledge, practical insight, and constant vigilance. By understanding the code's architecture and staying updated with amendments, you can navigate India's M&A landscape with confidence. Thank you for joining this deep dive. Stay tuned for the next part on competition law and combination regulation. This concludes our in-depth look at the SEBI Takeover Code in India. For further study, explore the next part of the treatise on competition law or revisit earlier sections for a refresher on company law and M&A fundamentals. Remember, the world of mergers and acquisitions is ever-changing. Keep learning, stay compliant, and contribute to a fair and vibrant market.